Hey guys, Tony here from TonyTechBytes, and this is my gaming desk setup tour. It's basically a gaming oriented version of my regular desk setup where I move the PC closer to me. I have gaming peripherals that are optimized for games, obviously. Nothing else has changed, but I'll just dive into the core components of this desk setup. So let's first talk about the monitor. It's the MSI MAG 241C, 24-inch curved 1080p 144Hz VA monitor. It's a pretty good monitor for gaming because it has a high refresh rate and it's definitely noticeably smoother than 60 Hz, which is great for gaming. And this does give a slight competitive edge compared to console gamers or people stuck at 60 Hz because it does look a lot smoother, and it definitely helps with FPS and battle royale games. And I really like the curved screen because it also makes games look a little bit more immersive. And yeah, I just really like using this monitor. Another thing about this monitor that I really like is the stand, and I think it looks really cool. It has 3 points of contact with the tabletop with 2 legs extending towards you and 1 in the back to support it. And it looks really clean, minimalistic, and also looks really cool. So let's talk about the peripherals. So the mouse I'm using is the Logitech G Pro wired gaming mouse. And it's a really good mouse because it's wired, so it's going to give you a competitive edge in FPS and battle royale games. And also feels pretty ergonomic in the hand. It looks a little bit small, but it does fit my hand pretty well. I really like using it because there's pretty much no input lag and it's a really good gaming mouse. There's also RGB when you plug it in, which does give it that gamer look. And I think you can turn that off in the Logitech app if you do not like that. So as for the keyboard I'm using is the Logitech G613 wireless keyboard. And as for why I wanted a wireless keyboard, I didn't really want a wire to be shown when on the desk. And in terms of the mouse, I mean, you could just hide it under the PC since it's so close. I don't really think you need a wired keyboard since this keyboard does use Logitech's Lightspeed technology, which does help with input lag, and it does feel pretty smooth when you're gaming. And really, I haven't noticed any input lag when you're using this keyboard. I mean, when you click like a random letter, I don't really see it lag on the screen. Unless you're like a super hardcore gamer, I don't think you really need a wired keyboard. This works really well and looks pretty good as well. As for the mousepad I'm using, it's the Gaze Desk Qi wireless charging mousepad, and they sent this out to me a couple months ago, and I really like using it because it has a Qi wireless charging pad on the side of it. So if you want to charge your phone on it, then you can definitely do that. Or if you're like me, I just want to use the entire real estate of the mouse pad to just flick my hand all over the place when I'm gaming. And this does help a lot because it is pretty wide and it's a pretty good mouse pad. But if you do just want a mouse pad for only gaming and not for wireless charging or anything else, I would just recommend getting a humongous mouse pad, since that is probably ideal if you're stretching your arm and hands all over the place. So as for the desk itself, it's the IKEA Linmon tabletop with the IKEA Alex drawers. I already talked about this in the previous desk setup tour video that I made on my main editing productivity desk setup, but I really like having 70 inches. You could use it for homework, gaming, and just putting all your garbage on the desk itself. And as for the drawers, they do store a ton of stuff. IKEA furniture isn't that expensive as actual like high quality wood furniture, but I really like IKEA furniture since it looks really minimalistic and it's also really functional as well. So for the chair I'm using, it's just a cheap Costco chair. It's plastic and it's like a picnic chair. It works fine for me. During long gaming sessions, I don't really notice any discomfort since I'm young and I don't have back problems. But I am going to invest in an actual office chair or maybe even a gaming chair in the future, because this isn't really that comfortable. There's no pillows or comforting soft materials on this. It's really just a hard picnic chair. I mean, it works fine and I'm not experiencing any back problems, so I think it should be okay for now. So as for the headphones I'm using the Razer Chroma Kraken something headphones. I'll link them in the description down below if you want to check them out. These are gaming headphones. They're wired, so sound quality is slightly better than Bluetooth headphones, and they are good for gaming because you can hear footsteps of your enemies. I mean, they're made by Razer, so they're okay, and sometimes the quality isn't as good as maybe other products, but they are okay, and they do have that gamery look. Finally, to my PC. I'm using a custom built PC that I made myself. I already made a couple videos on this. They're linked right up there. I'll just go over a few of the core components on the PC. It has a Ryzen 9 3900X 12 core 24 thread processor. Turbo's up to 4.6 GHz on a single core. And it's a pretty good processor for video editing, productivity, and also gaming, streaming, and all that stuff. I don't stream video games, but I might consider it in the future, and this will definitely handle anything you throw at it. And as for the GPU, I'm using the NVIDIA RTX 2060 Super. It's a pretty good GPU for the monitor that I have right here, which is 1080p. It's also pretty good for 1440p gaming as well. But if you're looking for a 4K gaming graphics card, I would recommend something along the lines of 2080 Super or 2080 Ti. You could also look at AMD's Navi cards that have released recently, and the AIB cards are actually a lot better than the reference design since they have more fans and it's an open design, which is a lot better than having a blower style card. It's all housed in the NZXT H500 case, which I think looks really clean, and for the motherboard I'm using the Asus Prime X570 Pro, which looks really clean. And this was pretty much the only X570 motherboard in the white color, so I had no choice. For the fans, I'm using NZXT's Air RGB2 fans with the NZXT Hue 2 hub. I'm also using the Kraken X62 to cool my CPU. It's a 280mm AIO, which works really good at cooling my CPU, and the processor never gets over 75 degrees-ish full load, which I know is pretty hot, but I mean for a 12-core processor, 75 degrees isn't that bad. And that's in Celsius. I'll link everything else in my PC in the description down below since I don't want to make this video too long. I also forgot to mention the headphone stand that the headphones are sitting on. It's the Avantri headphone stand that I picked up about a year ago, and I'll link that in the description down below for your convenience. It looks pretty clean on the desk setup and it works pretty functionally. There's also sort of a divot at the bottom to house any cables that you have for the headphones that makes it look a little bit cleaner than having them dangle. And as for a cell phone stand that I have, right over here, it's a Lamcall adjustable phone stand. I think it looks really clean and minimalistic on the desk setup, and it's definitely more helpful than just having your phone flat on the desk, since if you're getting notifications while you're gaming, you want to just see it at a glance and not have to strain your neck by looking down. So as for gaming performance, I pretty much max out all the games at 1080p 144Hz with this setup. I'm pretty sure I could get higher frame rates, but I just capped it because I have a 144Hz monitor. And I think in the future I'm going to get a higher resolution monitor for video editing and also for gaming purposes. But for now, this works well for my needs. I'm not incredibly competitive and I don't compete in Fortnite tournaments that will get me $3 million. So yeah, here's my gaming desk setup. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did. And also just a reminder, everything's linked in the description down below for your convenience. Thank you for watching.